All right, boys, before we get into this podcast, Prize Picks. If you do not already have the app, download it right now. Use code Bradley. They're going to give you $50 for free with your first $5 lineup. Super Bowl's coming up. NBA's in full swing. The Super Sweat's coming back for Prize Picks, which is basically 3 people are going to have a chance to win $1 million, like actually win $1 million. If you guys want to go check it out, it's very easy. It's on the phone. Literally just download the app. Use code Bradley for your very first lineup. If it is, this weekend or next week, whenever you do it, they'll give you $50 on your first $5 lineup. Again, NBA's in full swing. Picks there all day. Super Bowl is coming up. Prize Picks Super Sweat is coming up. Again, a chance for you guys to win. If you want to win a ton of money, go check it out. It's very easy. It's on the phone. Literally just download the app. Use code Bradley. They'll give you $50 on your first $5 lineup. Let's get into this podcast. Get you around these parts, huh? Look at you, man.
Look at, hey, what are you playing a fucking character right now?
No, I'm saying,
you're getting around these parts.
This is you, me and you. Look at us. Look at us. Who would have thought?
We're back in town.
Who would have thought me and you looking like this?
Looking like this.
Mostly you looking like that. Like, who would have thought?
Yeah, nobody.
Me looking like they knew I'd come like this.
Wearing jeans and
jeans. No, honestly, I've switched my whole fit because I saw yours.
That's how it goes,
I did.
Man. I'm a trendsetter.
What's it like being back in your old house?
Oh, dude, it's weird. I actually really enjoyed living.
You know
here.
what's funny?
Yeah.
You know, my mind is so weird. I don't know why it goes there. I immediately think about where are all the spots you probably like did your business at. And like we're sitting in this room.
A lot of times you could fucking see it.
Bro.
Like in the pool.
I can't tell you. Holy shit. I'd open the front door because you could see through the back and I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna go to my room.
Yeah, at least you wouldn't look.
No, yeah. I think other people would.
Other people would do the dishes.
Yeah.
The only time they'd ever do dishes, I'm in the
they never did the dishes except
like
you're in the pool.
Face pressed against the window. They're like, oh, Mike's in the pool again with a chick.
Yeah. You had a little run and then it got serious and
yeah.
Life's weird, huh?
Life is crazy, but yeah, it's fun being back here. I mean,
where's your favorite spot in this room?
There's
There's the couch right here.
couch. I
Probably did a lot of damage right here.
It did, yeah. The bed though was just like there's mirrors surrounding the whole fucking thing. The bed is the perfect height. Dude, it's just like it's a small place to like live entirely. Like I had everything in this spot, and it was actually just like ideal.
Yeah.
I had furniture from like my house growing up that like it was like passed down to me that I fit in here. Just like the one bedroom, and I had just like a little fridge. Like that was my fridge and a microwave.
Yeah.
And I made it work. It was nice.
Simple things you actually need. It was funny because then when the fires came, this is when I really felt that. I was like, because there was a fire close by, and they were like, I got an alert. And right before the alert, I was like hanging out with my mom, and I was like, let's go check out the fire that's up the street, jokingly. And the next thing you know, they're like, you should get ready to leave. And I was packing up all my stuff, and you realize how quickly, like, you don't really need much shit. I mean, obviously, you don't want to lose all your shit.
Yeah.
But the things that I was like, okay, what's most important is like my dogs, my guns, and like some documents.
Dude, I had the same thought because I was like, it was coming through Santa Monica, and my mom had to evacuate. And I was like, maybe we should just like get ready to get out of here as well. And so I went around my house and I was like, my dog, documents, my laptop, and hard drives. Yeah. And I was like, it would suck to lose all this. It would be like, to have to rebuild that. You don't probably realize what you're going to need until you have to do it. But yeah, man, like it makes you realize like what's really important in that moment.
What really matters.
I just like got to make sure the dog is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I thought about if I was like out.
Oh man,
dude! Like
I was gonna go to Miami for a stream, and I was like,
well, someone watching it. But if you're like out working, right, and you like it just happens, you gotta go get your dog.
Yeah,
dude, that's
I couldn't. And the crazy thing hearing about it now is that all these families are just like not gonna rebuild because they didn't have the insurance, or it's like who has the money to just like rebuild a house, like, and also the queue time of waiting for the rebuild is gonna be nuts. I wonder what's gonna actually happen with all that area.
I had no idea.
I feel like it's always like, you get the conspiracy. It's always like some play of like, oh, they're going to fucking, big companies will come and buy all the land and build condos or something. Like, that's what it feels like. I ain't gonna lie.
If people aren't going to, rebuild and no one's going to buy it.
Well, I heard 70% people are not trying to rebuild because they can't.
Yeah.
They just can't.
So like, yeah.
Big business. But how you been? How's life?
Life's good, man. Just focusing on work, really. Honestly, like start of the year has been pretty uneventful as far as like exciting things happening. But I'm just like figuring out what's in store next. There's a lot of like transitional things with business, a lot of scaling and building, and figuring out what's next for Bro Science and Mazzetti and for my clothing brand, and just what I want to accomplish and what I want to focus on. So
yeah. Well, that's kind of why I brought you here today, because I was, I don't always get in those weird moods where I'm like, man, I want to do something different. But lately, I've been really
like
just
put jeans on,
in a cowboy hat now, but dressed like a normal human.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But I have just spent so much time over, like, obviously I love the podcast stuff. I'll never stop this. I enjoy it so much. But as far as content and making content, because you and I can both relate, you even more so, you've been doing it for so many years, that like at some point you're kind of like, man, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
And like, what am I really having fun doing? And
yeah, that's where I'm at. Yeah.
And I've definitely been like, so I was thinking back on all the stuff that I've done and how much fun I've had. And I was trying to think of the times when I had the most fun. And then this leads me to that instant thought of pull up the video, go to Bro's Verse on YouTube. Oh, yeah. And I was like, this content is probably the content that I miss the most.
I love the banner we haven't changed since 2016.
Yeah. But I want to do this again.
Oh yeah.
And so that's why I brought you here, was to force you to
talk about it, to tease the audience again with another one of our threatening to bring. Look, I love how we did one video last year.
And then 4 years ago,
we're like, Bros versus back, baby. One video.
Yeah, that's classic of your character, though.
It is classic. It is. I just like to tease you with it. But I mean, like we'll get into the nitty gritty of it. But there's a reason that it just hasn't really clicked, and it's just like, between all the businesses that we do and the priorities, and just trying to figure out like what we enjoy, what we can make money doing. It's just, at least for me, it's been a process of just finding that path. And I think with Bros Verse, we've always loved it, but struggled to figure out how to make it make sense financially to the point where like we can afford to put our effort into it and prioritize it. Because when it got popular in 2016, it was demonetized and ad revenue was dog then.
Bro.
And then like we were like, all right, let's bring it back. And what was it, a year ago, 2023? I mean, it's coming up on 2 years, to be honest. It's lying. So we're like, let's do this. But I think we were still both figuring out what was going on with like our personal brands and trying to figure that, and what I wanted to do with the character. So we just yet again stepped away from it. But I think this time is the perfect storm. Yeah,
I do. I think the kind of crazy idea I came up with, I was thinking that if we did it in a format, because obviously now it's all just like streaming driven, clip driven. I think if we do a live stream version of this sort of show, and then obviously post the videos to YouTube, I think that's like I don't think it can get better than that. Because I remember specifically, the reason why I say this is talking about what I actually enjoy doing. Mm-hmm. And I think that's important for anyone if you're trying to succeed at anything eventually. Because if you don't enjoy it, you're going to eventually stop, and it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And so I was, again, thinking about what the fuck is in my mouth? God damn.
Clip that?
Yeah, Jesus, please don't clip that. I was thinking about all the things that I really enjoyed. And I remember like the times when we would film these videos, like the genuine hilariousness that would happen off camera, because they would see the edited version and sometimes the bloopers, obviously, but still not all of it. Mm-hmm. I unequivocally can say that out of all the content I've ever filmed, I've never laughed as hard filming this content, like off camera.
Oh yeah.
And so my perception is like, because the live stream is becoming such a popular thing, that if we were able to do that same content on a live stream and then obviously cut up, make it a YouTube video, I think it would be nuts. I think people would see like just a different level of fucking, because I always felt like if when you do something and you watch your own content and you're like, a lot of people think it's funny. You've had this for years. You made comedy, fitness videos forever.
Yeah.
Would you agree that if you'd watch back your video and see something that you said was funny, and if you thought it was funny, then you knew it was really funny?
Well, that's the best part about this. Like when I do Bro Science, it's pretty rare that by the time I get to filming, I'm laughing at what I do because it's scripted, and I take a long time writing that script. Like I'll think of the joke and I might laugh in that moment, but I'll move the words around. I'll change the sentence. I'll like look at it a million times. I'll rehearse it. I'll memorize it. I'll deliver the line. I'll do it again. So by the time I'm shooting, I'm not really laughing. And the only times I'm laughing is like if it's just like if I deliver it in such a way or if I add improv to it. So I don't really get that part of it. And then when I get to the edit, sometimes I'll laugh at it because I can see my delivery on it.
Yeah.
And like then I know it's really good, but it's very rare. But with Bro's Verse, since it's all improv, I'm not even really aware of some of the things I'm saying or doing or how it's being delivered. So when I edit it and I watch it back, I'm seeing it as a viewer basically, and I'm watching it like, yo, this was so funny. Like there's certain inflections and deliveries and words and just like actions that are done that like when I am in character and doing these things, I'm not really fully aware of it. Like I'll remember some of the funnier jokes, but some of the things that like make us really laugh, it just totally miss because we're just rolling with it.
Yeah.
So when I'm laughing not only like when we do it, but when I watch the edit back, I'm fucking cracking up to myself. And when I like edit it together, like when I did the Super Bowl commercial edit,
Yeah.
dude, I was fucking crying when I was editing like the doll going out the fucking window. I was crying when I was editing that. And so like every part of it is great and a lot of fun. So I know exactly what you mean when you're like, when you watch it back and it's still just as good, if not better than when you were doing it, then it's something.
And so the idea that I was thinking like that concept, knowing that it feels that way and that that's what it is, that if we do it live, then they capture all of it. So I think us doing it, for example, on like a platform like Twitch and filming it like live streaming, filming us, like live streaming us filming it, I think that's the play.
And I think you get like really great insight too, because not a lot of people know how it's done. Like because it is improv, but we do it so well, it does seem like, you know, what's scripted and what's not, like how you see the finished product, and then even the outtakes, you just see the laughter. You don't really see when we take time in between beats to like figure out maybe certain directions or certain jokes, or we think of something in the moment. And I'd find that people would find that, you know, pretty interesting to watch. Cause like we will have a concept, we'll have, you know, here's the topic, here's the concept, here's the beats, the beginning, middle, and end. And then we'll just kind of go with it. And some are a little bit more structured than others, and some are a little bit more loose, where you can watch us come up with it on the spot.
Yeah.
And then seeing the jokes come up with on the spot, like you'll feel like you are a part of it, because you'll be seeing, you know, Nadeem, our filmer, because I think we should have two cameras, one to shoot the live, and then one to shoot the YouTube videos. One, so I don't have to edit through 5 hours of fucking footage every time we do a YouTube video. And the other, so because Nadeem is a character in it.
Yes.
And so to see his character play off of us, and also see the three of us come up with things on the spot and see where it goes, and like get a real insight into how it's done, you'll feel like you are there with us, and also like, you know, possibly contributing to that.
Yeah. Because like I was saying, like for me, the most fun, I've never laughed as hard as I laughed actually filming these videos. Because we'll like do these moments where obviously you don't see it because it's cut out, but then we'll stop and talk about like what we're doing and being like, we'll say this or say that, or get your face straight again. And it reminds me of, it's straight up that shit like in school when you're not supposed to laugh.
Dude, it's because you're like, I'm picturing it now. You're like tight-lipped. You're like, don't ruin the scene. And you're like looking away.
Like, do you remember of course, the wine video?
So funny.
Because you posted it recently and that's what gave me the idea. And then I went and looked back the video when we were doing this, the tasting rustic.
Rustic.
I'll never forget because you were like, no, you got to say something that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And I swear I said it and you just blew up.
Dude, it was just so funny.
So shit like that is
Oh my God.
is fucking, I want to have fun making content.
Should we play some of their most recent outtakes?
Which the van one?
Masculinity one. Let me see.
Yeah, click that one.
Yeah. Guys, I haven't watched this I haven't watched the outtakes since I made it. Sick beat.
Test! Do you want me to test it? Oh, test!
Just talk normally.
Fucking swing on it. I was talking normally. Dude.
Dude, the bomb thing.
So funny.
Yeah, they'll be like, you'll get my leftovers.
How many virgins are supposed to be?
72.
72, okay.
I'm 73.
Yeah, I'm like 73 actually.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I swear to God, bro, I'll do it. I'll fucking let go of this thing. We're both gonna go to halal, dude.
Halal?
Yeah, there's gonna be 72 virgins up there waiting for us.
72.
Well, 73 actually. You gotta ask about the pipe bomb. Like, why do you have the pipe bomb? Okay.
Yeah.
Can I get mad that I can I get mad?
Okay.
Can I get mad that it's real? Like, kind of get a little scared.
I think it's real.
Yeah.
Okay.
And action.
What? First of all, okay, like I know, I get it. Okay, I know you're a little crazy. Listen though, you know how many people die by guns versus pipe bombs? Well, that's just because less people are throwing pipe bombs around.
See, like this I'm like, we were there.
Yeah.
Like we've done every step of it, and I'm like interested in watching this. Like to see it happen, like unfold live.
It's like I'll also say like just also dumb ass shit that is just, I don't know if,
I think there's the contrast because like that shit, I always crack up at like when you just deliver a deadpan line that's like either true or calling out how ridiculous it is. Cause like that made me laugh. You're like, if people aren't just fucking throwing pipe bombs, which like brought me out of this insane moment as Dom, who's like, you know, believing what I'm saying. And I thought of this image of people just chucking fucking pipe bombs, and it made me crack up thinking like, this is the world in Dom's head where like, he's actually like, yeah, this makes sense. And like in a weird way in Dom's logic, it does. But I think I think like you get a good sample of what it would be like because you see us not only like the bloopers and outtakes from us laughing, but stopping and being like, hey, like, oh, let's restructure this. Like you got to talk about the pipe bomb. You got to do this.
Yeah.
And then we reset and like go back into character. It's so funny.
yeah, it's exactly that feeling of like, all right, like you're in class, fucking, all right, get it together and like deliver this the right way. But bro, so I guess I got a question for you. It's just not so much about this specifically, but the Dom Mazzetti character. I mean, I know because I've spoken to you plenty of times off camera, but how actually burnt out are you on that?
I am burnt out on bro science in the way that it is currently. And I think it makes me feel like I'm burnt out on the character. It's sometimes hard to divorce those two feelings. You're like, is it just because I'm doing it in a specific way that I'm tired of doing it that way? Or do I just like, am I just tired of playing this character? I've asked myself that question all the way down to like, am I tired of doing comedy? Like it's got to that point where I was like, I don't even know if I want to do comedy anymore, like straight comedy. I want to have like comedic elements in the things I do, but I don't know if it was something that I was like, yeah, I just want to make a comedy channel, a sitcom, a comedy movie. I wasn't sure if I wanted to continue doing that because I had done it for so long and put so much material into these videos, like all these jokes. And I just felt like I didn't have a ton of passion for it. But then when I think about the character and I watch stuff like this, I'm like, I'm great at this. Like I know that this is something that I've mastered. I have a gift for this, and I don't want to waste it. And I don't believe I have. But I think like there's still something left for me to do with it. And I consider like, what do I want to do with it? Like, do I want to continue making bro science videos? No. Do I want to abandon the character? No. So like what can happen there? And I think about, you said what I have fun doing, but also like what I feel is really valuable and a new thing to explore with like my creativity, which I think is important for me. It's like why, I start different things in the clothing brand, because there's other aspects of what I do that I want to explore. And bro science sometimes feels like I'm really just locked into a cage of doing it a certain way. With this, there's that element of improv and being in character in real time, which I feel like not a lot of people can do.
Yeah.
And I have done it so long and I do it so well that like, I find that, really rewarding and fulfilling to do. And it's also just, it's a lot of fun, man.
Yeah.
So I think that's, I think there is more I want to do with it. Like, I don't want to kill it off, but I was just like, for a long time, kind of searching about like what was next for me.
Yeah.
And obviously it needs to make sense financially. Like I can't do this shit for free. Like this is how I put food on my table.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we can fucking figure it out. We just have to convince Nadeem. It's funny because we came up with this idea and we didn't tell him it like.
No, he's not even looped in.
Yeah.
We texted him.
Me and you, I was like, dude, this is a great idea. We got to do this.
Yeah,
and then before this podcast started, I was like, we should call Nadeem and tell him we're going to do this.
We just were like, this is such a good idea.
Because he is definitely an integral part.
Yeah.
He's definitely a part of it.
He's a funny character. And I love how there's a lot of history with this that just works really well. Like the jokes between you and I and Nadeem, we call him Terrain. And it's just like, You know, I think like I oftentimes think about why this setup works for Bros Verse. And it's when I think about who would play alongside Dom as a character, the one question is always like, why would this person go along with what Dom is doing, right? Like he's an asshole, he's an idiot, he's greedy, and he's manipulative. It's like, so why would anyone in their right mind listen to him? Now you think somebody who is, you know, kind of beneath Dom in a way, maybe younger or smaller or like intimidated by him, would be bullied into doing it. But then you feel bad for that person and then you don't no longer really like Dom.
Yeah.
So you think about somebody like you where it's like you wouldn't imagine this guy to be like coerced into something like this.
Yeah.
And the bullying just comes from this like this insecurity within Dom, but also you going along with it makes it so much funnier than some like, you know, little minion. It's like, it's funnier if you're the minion and you're like, okay, I think this makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's just like a perfect blend because like you don't feel bad for you, and thus I don't become the villain. And it's just this kind of like thing where we're both just idiots on this. It's hilarious.
It's funny too because this like I did a lot of I made so much content over the years, but this was the first version of, at least in my internet career, where I became the butt of the joke, and then it stuck forever.
Yeah.
Because then Steve will do it, did it.
Yeah.
Nelk did it. It's like even Steiny will try to do it, like in podcast format.
To my credit, though, I think I did it in a way where like it didn't come from a place of like you were just there to be made fun of. It was like it started from the gym.
You're saying I was just there to be made fun of for all the other ones? Fuck.
I don't know, because like it started from a place of like the Gym Nemesis video.
Yeah.
Where Dom was like it was about the insecurities in somebody, seeing somebody and sizing them up and refusing to let this person be bigger than them. So like that's where it all came from, and it made sense in the world where like the joke of, you know, Dom's like, I'm bigger than you. Like it's different if like,
because obviously you were not.
Right. As you know,
you weren't. Just not. You were just not.
I was not what?
Bigger than me at any point ever.
No, I was.
No, like any point ever in your life, I think.
Just like bigger, like, you know,
no, like even
as a measurement of like occupying importance.
No, just like physically never bigger, like literally quite physically,
man,
like pound
just
for
pull
pound.
up the comments, dude.
Yeah, well, the comments are lies, bro. They've always lied.
They've always been lies.
Dude, how many comments does that shit have? Yeah, they've always been lies.
It's so
bro.
funny to try to talk about it and still want to protect the joke. I'm like, I really want to share the insights behind it, but I also don't want to give up the fucking joke.
Isn't it crazy how YouTube was such a different place, man? Like we would get like 10 million, we were getting crazy views on shit. And then I'll never forget that time came and just washed us. 2016. 2016.
Yeah, it was actually, the views didn't get hit that hard. It was just, we couldn't make any money from it. It was all demonetized. Like, and even if it was, because I remember this with Bro Science, like my Bro Science stuff didn't all get demonetized, but overnight I was earning a third of what my ad revenue was for the same views. It was just dog shit revenue at the time. So like we made nothing off this. And so like, obviously we're going to go like, this is fun, but like we have all these other businesses that are growing and making us money and providing for us. That like, how can we realistically justify pulling time away from that to do this thing, which was the equivalent of a couple of kids with a camera making sketches?
Yeah.
You know, like we already have something that's working. How can we justify it? So it was just kind of like unfortunate timing. And I think I'm just like too early to a lot of things, but I think this time.
Yeah, really.
Cause like, here's an example. We did a Brosverse podcast in 2017.
We did. Yeah.
That's like 7 years before the trend of like the podcast shit.
Yeah.
And we were already making fun of it.
Yeah.
But like, I think it just, hopefully this time is like right on the money when it comes to combining all the things that are working. When you see streaming, YouTube being just a bigger platform in general for people watching long form content, the clips, all that stuff can be pulled from like one shoot. Now we have 4 different pieces of content. We have the stream.
I think it's the best time ever for this, because it's also something that in the streaming world there's zero people are doing this type of content.
Yeah.
It's like, I think people will see and be like, wow, this is actually really fucking funny. I genuinely believe that, which is why I think it's a fucking great idea.
And I also think it's like you get to see what it's like to be on the set of creating something that's similar to like a television show. Because this is, to me, shot and edited well, maybe not shot, but like it's put together to feel like it's a sitcom.
I love how you shot at Nadeem right there because it's shot by Nadeem. It's edited by you. You're like, maybe not shot, but edited. I'm fucking professional.
I meant put together, like the idea, the concept, the structure. Like it's all crude. Like it doesn't look like a TV show, but it's like it feels like a sitcom. You know, it's not a vlog. There's characters, there's plot, there's a beginning, middle, and end mostly to it, and that's not usually something you see. You know, on the internet in general, but especially not when it's streamed. You know?
I wish we shot one like 2 days ago when everyone was going crazy about TikTok being canceled. Because I just feel like Dom would be the greatest character to be like, yeah, that shit's fucking lame, but then be like crashing out about TikTok being gone.
Well, I'm sure we could get to it. You know, there's going to be some change.
There's always stuff.
There's always something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I like about it as well is like it can always continue to live because it's based on sort of current things.
Yeah.
Like even just all the stuff that you've ever done is like based on current, you know, either trends in the fitness space or trends on social media related to fitness or bodybuilding. And like, it's always kind of something new that you can kind of go towards that people will be able to be like, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
So that's the other reason why I also think it's perfect timing is that obviously, you know, medium aside, Twitch, et cetera, whatever streaming platform, the content also like podcasting is like, every day there's something new, and every day or every week or every month there's something that's like virally talked about.
Yeah.
And in this format, you can kind of address it, you know, in this kind of insane fashion. I just think it's fucking, I'm just trying to like, I don't know, I'm just making myself sound really cool right now, or else sound really cool, but I don't give a fuck because I
think we
this.
just like it, man. I think
I
we
love
just
it.
I agree with you. I think it's because the challenge with bro science, and it is a bit of a challenge when it comes to bros verse, is like there's layers beneath all the stuff that make it, you know, really would make it so popular. It's not just like the over the top humor that everyone's there for. It's like the messages beneath it and like what I'm talking about, the observations I'm making, what I'm breaking down. And that's easier to do when you're scripting because you have time to think about it and create that. Harder to do when you have improv, but it comes from like the structure of it where you think like, this is the topic. How do we deliver a message within this and then have a lot of fun in between that? And so there are some elements of like, you know, we talk about, let's do a video on TikTok. I'm going to think about what are like the underlying messages about this? What are some of the other like points that are hidden beneath this umbrella of like TikTok being canceled? And then we go, these are the things we want to touch on.
China spying on us.
People, you know, what are people going to do when they lose their following? Like people are not prepared for what happens if you lose your following like that, or if you lose your following gradually, as most people do, with just relevancy. Like people get viral and then don't know what to do with the rest of their life now. And they maybe put all their eggs in that basket, and all of a sudden that basket's gone.
And then they're going to start putting their fries in the bag.
And
just fuck, dude.
So there's like, you start there and then you go to like the deeper things that people like really connect with, or that they want to like talk about themselves. You know, everyone makes a joke, oh, you're gonna be working at McDonald's now. It's like, okay, that's cool. There's obviously, people are on the same page about something, but I think we can find a funnier, deeper,
I just want to go to McDonald's and shoot us you trying to get a job at McDonald's like in real time.
I think,
Are you guys hiring?
I think the funny thing too about Bros Verse is like almost all the videos are about Dom trying to make money. It's like some scheme to get rich and famous. Yeah. And there's always something. And I think it's just like, it's like Pinky in the Brain.
Yeah, it's exactly what it reminds me of. I watched that shit so much when I was a kid.
So funny, man. So yeah, I think we're just going down memory lane and really.
I know. It's just reminiscing, dude. Good times.
Yeah.
I think I had the most fun, and I think about the content I made. I'm like, over the years, I'm like, this is the kind of content I would like to continue to make outside of what I already do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I just got so burnt out, you know, kind of going back to the question I asked you earlier about feeling burnt out. I got so burnt out on like, I can't make gym videos forever, man.
Nobody can.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why you see these cycles of fitness, and you know, it kind of dies out and people are like, well, I started as a fitness influencer. What am I doing next? Kind of to go back to what I was saying about the TikTok thing. You're like, there's only so much you can do. And if you don't make, you know, a certain amount of success in that time, you're going to go, okay, what's next for me? I can't, I've already said what needs to be said in fitness, or feel like you've exhausted that. So, yeah, man, I agree with you. I think the people want it as well.
Yeah.
I think we've teased them enough.
Yeah. Every time it's like, it just
feel a little bad. But.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. Because they're hearing this and they're like, dude, you guys are fucking lying again. You're gonna, you're gonna do it once. And you'd be like, something came up, man.
Bros
Like,
versus line, first video. We're kidding. We lied. Yeah, we're here one time. We're out.
I can't believe you fucking fell for that. Fool me 3 times.
Dude, you
Yeah.
fucking fool them 100 times.
Dude, it's just...
One of the running jokes on your page was I always found hilarious was like, oh, rent must be due. And it's like, this guy's finally got another
it's so
video.
funny. Yeah, every time. Rent's due.
So what else in the rest of your life? How's like, you're like me, a little older, no family yet.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
36.
And also, well, let me preface the question.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? But also, do you think that doing this for so long with so much hyper focus and fixation has slowed that down for you?
So hard to say. Like I've always been a relationship focused kind of person when it comes to like, I'm either completely single or I'm dating somebody who I want to take seriously. I don't like kind of casually in between.
Your whole life?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because like I want to either like fully invest in something or just like, I just want to fully invest in something. If that's being single, I want to be fully single. I don't want to like kind of entertain sort of casual relationships, which then are just a distraction, or you kind of like start to feel maybe some pressure or some responsibility to this person where now you can't just like be fully single and free. And if I'm in a relationship, it's because I want to be in that relationship.
Yeah.
I'm not looking for something else. I don't need somebody to just kind of be there to occupy my time or to like keep me from being alone. Like I'm fine without it.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to enter it, it's because it's additive to my life and I want to keep it there.
And you've always been that way.
Always. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been the opposite of that.
Yeah.
Which is a different story.
Yeah. So with that in mind, it was never like I can't entertain both, that my career was sort of like taking over everything where I couldn't find the space for somebody, wasn't necessarily mature enough to like handle both. It's just like relationships didn't work out. Timing wasn't right. I think there probably is a factor in that what I do and how it affects my life and my growth, I guess, it is probably affects it in a way that I'm not fully aware of. You know, just like the path of my life is different than some people where it's just a little bit more like laid out and, you know, they have a secure job and, you know, they meet somebody at that job and then they get married. And I'm like, even now I'm like, what's next for me?
Yeah.
You know, there's still a lot I want to accomplish. So I think right now, as relationships have been, you know, an important part of like an ultimate goal for me. Like I do think life is better spent, you know, with somebody and shared with somebody that like you truly connect with. If it's, I'm not going to force it. And right now there's just like a lot I really want to focus on.
Yeah.
And relationships have just been challenging. And I'm not going to like continue to carve out like more and more space for this when I know that there is a ton more I need to focus on. So right now, more than ever, I might be a little bit more focused on the career and just like doing that. Maybe it's just a little bit of fatigue from being,
you know what I think? Because I've known
that?
you for so many years and it shows in your, and I don't think I've ever told you this, but in your personality and everything that you do and everything we've done together, I've seen it as well. You're obviously a great fucking guy. Great. We've even had falling out times. I've come back and I'm like, yo, I'm sorry. And you know, you're a great person. No doubt about that. I think you have such a standard or such a perfectionist ideal in a lot of ways that I think you're looking for something, not that you can't have, because of course you could have all the things, all the box checked, but, and again, I'm giving advice and I'm not saying like I figured out, because you know, God willing, hopefully I will, I haven't.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the thing for you is like, it's gotta be almost like exactly how you want it. Cause I know your personality in a lot of ways is kind of that. It shows that in what you do and it works for all of this shit.
Yeah.
But I think maybe that's part of the thing for you. And I don't know, I'm trying to be a fucking therapist or anything, but I guess I've never said it to you, but I think that's maybe where it's harder.
Yeah, I see that. I definitely see the perfectionist tendencies and where they can become not so helpful in things where like you can't really control certain aspects like you can in creating content, like in a relationship or other people.
Yeah.
I think for me, it boils down to what feels genuine. I cannot do something fully that does not feel authentic to me when it comes to like, especially relationships. Like if I'm not feeling it, like it's just, I just can't do it. And I'm not, I can't see a path forward where this deserves more time or more energy. So it's like, unless I really feel it and this really feels like it aligns with me, it's just not going to work. And so like, there's less opportunity for connection for me then, because I do take it more seriously. It's not that I'm like, when I meet somebody, like jump right into something, but I have to know that like, I feel there's a certain level of like connection to it, that it can grow or turn into something or evolve from something, or that it starts at a place of, of even deeper connection. But I think just looking at a lot of the things I do, finding that balance between what works, what makes sense for you without being a perfectionist, but is also genuine to what you want to do. I think that's kind of what this is, right? Like it hasn't worked in a number of ways because of timing or other priorities or other considerations. But it's always felt right. It's always felt like this is genuinely what I enjoy, and I want to find a way to make this work. It doesn't need to be perfect, but it does need to feel like this is where I'm meant to be. And I take that same mentality into a relationship or, a business I'm starting. Like I didn't do this just to get famous. I didn't do this for the money. Like, yeah, those things are great, but like, that's not going to fulfill me. That's not going to keep me moving on. If it was, then I would just put all of that into bro science and be like, well, this is the thing that got me all the, the success. So like, just double down on that. I'm like, no, there's certain parts of this that like really speak to me in an authentic way. And I want more of that in my life. Because like, that's to me, the whole purpose of this is to, find something that really aligns with you and share that with people. And
you're talking about this or just life in general?
Life in general. Yeah. Careers, relationship. And I think like, it does end up feeling a little perfectionist. And I think there is some work I need to do in making sure that like, I don't go too far into that trap.
Yeah.
Because it's not everything's going to be perfect, but.
Yeah. I guess the question I when I hear you speak is like because I do this a lot. It's like, I know, or I don't know. So I'll know it or I won't know it. And what I mean by that is like, it'll be what I want in my mind. And my mind is maybe so much more optimistic about what it actually is.
Yeah. The potential
of it.
Yeah.
That like, I'll sometimes look away from what it really, in reality, emotion aside, what it really is.
Yeah. Yeah, I think human beings tend to do that in general. Just like look at the potential, and I find that interesting because it does kind of go against how I would create content, where I see things very clearly. I'm like, I know exactly what to do and how to manipulate this to make it feel this way and come out this way, and I can be a perfectionist when it comes to creating media and entertainment. You can't do that with other people. No, like you like, and so you start to try to, your brain tries to make patterns to make it feel like it is fitting these boxes. And so you're going to ignore the other things because like you can't change that, and nor should you want to. Like, I don't want to apply the same philosophy towards relationships that I do towards media. Like, I don't want to like create the perfect partner. I just want it to feel right. But like your brain will try to be like, well, this shows a lot of promise. You can work with this. Yeah. And then you're kind of like, well, there's all this shit that you're just like, this probably isn't that challenging. And I think maybe some of that comes from like how we're used to solving problems in business and being, I guess entrepreneurs. I don't like saying that because it's just like so overused. But the idea of like, you are set out on your own with a goal and you're given a challenge. And that challenge, you don't go, forget this thing. You go, how do I overcome this?
Yeah.
And so you kind of, I think, instinctively think about that with relationships. You don't see red flags as I'm going to quit. You see it as like, oh, this is interesting. How do I work with this? Is this something I can work with? Is this an opportunity? Because now I see like all the failures that have happened in my businesses and in my professional life. I see them as like, this is needed to happen. This is a lesson for me to learn, where I need to be going. And so I'm not like turned off by these red flags and certain things I do professionally because like I needed them to go wrong.
Yeah.
But you can't really do that same thing with a relationship because sometimes you do just need to look at it and go, this is not right for me, and leave. It's hard when your brain is usually going, when something is off, this is a problem and I'm a problem solver and I'm going to fix it. Yeah. And I'm going to learn how to overcome this. And you can't do that with everything. And it's hard when that's like kind of the basis of how you've created everything in your life.
Yeah, that like summed up all my relationship problems. Like that's exactly what's happening.
Man, that'll be $300 fucking.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming, bro. That's honestly why I brought you here.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, I've known you. You've had issues in relationships. You've had your own fucking hurdles. So
Yeah.
that's why. I mean, that's why I talked to you about it. I mean, I talked to you about this shit off camera too. But
Yeah.
I wanted to bring it up because I think I have a lot of conversations with you off camera, and just candidly, they're always really good.
Yeah.
And I always felt. I know you've never been that sort of content creator to like make content just about you as a human.
Yeah.
Because you're fucking Dom Mazzetti. And I remember when I first brought that up to you like years ago, you're like, I think your original point of like, I don't know, was because you felt like people would judge the character differently.
Yeah.
Because of who they found out who you actually were.
Some people do. I mean,
Yeah.
and I think like as I've gotten older and experimented more with different things, content wise and career wise.
Because
I've
before
learned,
you,
like,
I'm sorry to interrupt, but some people literally think that you are that Dom. Like Dom Mazzetti's a real.
Yeah. Especially years ago when like
Yeah.
myself and the fan base were younger, there was a lot more of people believing I was like,
I've had people come up to me and be like,
Yeah.
Is he really like that? I'm
Yeah.
like, no, he's a fucking. I'm like, what? That's I mean, a tribute to you, man. You did you did a great job.
well, like I said, I'm when I'm doing something, I'm fully in on it.
I'm in on it.
Yeah.
Fuck all the red flags.
I was so fucking committed to it. But yeah, I think like that's one thing I'm learning recently is just to be more like, because I do have a whole separate other, business that doesn't use the Dom Mazzetti stuff to be successful. And I'm learning more about what it is that I want to share and what it is that people connect with. And it is more of these personal things like me sharing stories about, growing up and not having a ton of confidence and learning what that means through all these different stages of my life from, 16 years old to 36.
Yeah.
And hoping that can help other people understand their confidence, find it, and gonna do the things that like I kind of had to figure out on my own that, if I can be that source of guidance for somebody else, then that's to me very fulfilling. And that's something I can't really do as Dom. And it's only done accidentally where people are like, you inspired me to go to the gym because you made it more approachable. That's great. And I love that, but that's not what that content is necessarily for. And so I want to do more things that when it comes to, my personal stuff that does talk about that people find value in and can help, like just with some of the hurdles that I've faced.
Yeah.
And just giving back.
I mean, confidence is the one specific thing that's stood out, the confidence thing. Like also confidence is such a thing that it's wavering.
Yeah. You never, it's never something to keep. You don't just have it. Like it's something you have to like build and understand and learn how to like regain and learn how to fortify, but it's never just, you don't just get it and keep it. It's not like you just like, oh, I became confident. Like you learn how to have it in certain scenarios. And that's what I'm learning is like, because I've just subjected myself to so many different things when like you've spent your entire adult life on the internet as a different character, as yourself, as all these things, like relationships that are like online and whatever. You're like, okay, I've learned all this. How do I help other people get there faster? And like, because people are looking for mentorship and I didn't necessarily have that in figuring this out myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same, bro. Same. I'm still trying to figure it out. Well, fuck.
Oh, I think that's the thing, man. It's like, it's always something to figure out. And once you kind of understand that, then it's easier to recognize, how to just get there faster. Like right now I'm trying to think like, where do I feel most confident? How do I access it so quickly? And it's interesting having this character because like I can be in character and just like have this veneer of confidence because I know exactly what I'm doing. There's a goal. It's just be funny.
Yeah.
That's it. So I don't have any outside noise. I know exactly what I'm doing. I can have tunnel vision when it comes to this. But as a human being, my goal is not just be funny. Then I'm just kind of an asshole. Maybe I'm not making real connections. There's other parts of my personality. So like it's not this very direct thing where like I can turn on the confidence for the character like that. And I think about that. I'm like, how do I access that in real life? What it is about that character that is confidence that I can use in my personal life. And so understanding that in scenarios that you feel confident or feel insecure and like self-reflecting, you can learn a little bit more about yourself. And when you do, you know how to pull yourself out of the hole, or you know how to like bring that energy that you need. And it's never there all the time. So that's why it's always like you have to figure it out in different stages of your
All
life.
the time.
Yeah.
You gotta figure it out all the time.
All
God
the time. It
damn
never stops. Like it never ever stops. And like once you realize that, that's, you know, it's a little freeing.
Yeah. Yeah. Except you want it, and then you're sad that you don't fucking have it. Yeah. Sorry, sad boy hours.
Totally.
But okay, so besides the relationship stuff, are you keep up with like current shit? Like what do you like the inauguration stuff, political? You don't really talk about. You don't really go.
No,
on that shit.
it's not really what people look to me for. It's not really like where I want to speak on. Like kind of what I was saying before, what feels authentic to me. It's like if it's not something that I feel I have real value in discussing, like, you know, I'm just not it. Like,
yeah. I feel like so many people now, like that's they end up like going directly towards that, especially on social media, because it's such a low hanging fruit of I could talk about this and get people's attention.
And that's what makes it tough. It's like you don't really know where people like how they genuinely feel. Like, are you jumping on this because you know it gets views? Where do you really feel? And like I've heard directly from like certain creators being like, oh, like this is I've done this because I know it gets a ton of views, and so I'm going to be on this side of this argument and this, and it's just like, well, where are you really? Yeah. And I just like I can't really, I just don't want to get involved with that. Like I said, it's just for me like I'm a storyteller. I want to share things that matter to me and that I feel, you know, have value to other people. And that's,
but then every once in a while we'll do like Bros versus World War III.
Yeah, but like, because it's like you take those current events and like if I have something to say on it, that's where it all comes from. And that's why it's like that's what makes comedy good. That's what makes anything good. Like, what do you have to say about this?
Right.
Not just what's going to get clicks. What do you have to say about this particular thing? And that's where all the bro science stuff comes from. And I'm just running out of things to say. I'm running out of like, what do I really want to talk about?
Yeah, I get you.
And so that's why it's harder to write scripts. It's like, it's not going to make the best content for you as a viewer. So when we do stuff like World War III, I'm like, oh, I've got this, like, I want to say something about this.
Yeah.
I have something I want to say. It's a particular point of view. And I think that's really what it is like your value comes from your point of view. That's why people are watching you, watching me. And it's so you want to be genuine to your point of view. And if you're just chasing the algorithm and chasing clicks, you don't have a point of view anymore. You're just somebody who accidentally gets views. Yeah. And so I'd rather just try to find what feels right and what people connect with. And like, it's a weird medium for it to be where you're like, you look at this collection of stuff, like, what does this have to do with point of view? What does it have to do with your message? But like, there's always something in there. And I think it's just like, makes it fun. And makes it good.
And which is why I think like, if I just look at content in general, like because we've been doing this now for literally fucking me, I think 15, you probably like, what, I don't know, 20 years?
My first viral video was 2010. So 15 years. Yeah.
15 years. Yeah. And it's like watching it progress over all these years and seeing what people, obviously, like you said, they get attached to an algorithm or to like some, you know, in most cases, some divisive point of view, and then they go that direction.
Yeah.
But I feel like the content creators that like right now are becoming the most popular are the streamers. It's kind of where my idea originally was like, we should do this on the streaming platform in this way, because I think people are starting to wake up to the idea of they're just doing this just for views for a lot of, you know, different, not just fitness, but a bunch of different niches. And I think the people who now are getting the most popular are not when they're like fitting in whatever exact niche, but they're just, this is who I am. And I'm talking about the things that I like, why these streamers, because I'll hear a lot of mixed sort of opinions on these like really popular streamers, like, oh, they don't do shit. They just sit there and talk about whatever. And whatever like the sort of like negative connotation is around like what they're doing and it not being like that entertaining.
Yeah.
And then, but I understand that the real reason why they're getting so much engagement or viewership is because number one, they're consistent.
Yeah.
But number two, they're just them. You know what I'm saying? Like they're them and they're talking about real life shit, and maybe it's in a different format, but I think people are moving towards more real content now than ever. Things that feel like genuine to the situation and not like contrived or forced just for a view.
Yeah, I could see that. I'm not too caught up with the streaming stuff, so it's all very new for me, but I can see where that level of authenticity is hard to fake when you're just live for hours at a time. So like you have to have some sort of personality that people can connect with.
Number one, yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, and if you are faking it or chasing an algorithm, like you can do that in bites, you can do that in little segments, but for hours at a time, I'd imagine that would be pretty difficult to like keep up with. So I think like from what little I understand about streaming, it seems like people just really want to connect with an individual and really like have that, like, I want to feel like I'm a part of this person, like a friend of this person, come along for this trip, like communicate with them and like real life friends, which is kind of weird. It's like, it's a little bit sad, but also kind of cool. Like I don't have like, there's a lot of negative points of view when it comes to looking at social media, but sometimes like I like to just see the positive stuff for it. Cause like as somebody who started this because I wanted to be an entertainer, a filmmaker or whatever, like I went to school for this stuff. I think it's incredible that we have platforms to share things that we truly care about.
Yeah.
And so people are like, oh, put the phone down and like this, and like, it's just this highlight reel of this. It's like, this is incredible. We have this thing to connect with people that we'd never ever be able to connect with without it. And so it feels a little sad where you're like, get real life friends, but also like,
when they say touch grass.
Yeah. But at the same time, like maybe you can do both. Like you can now connect with people that you couldn't before, and you can learn more about an individual.
Bros versus touching grass, bro.
Yeah,
I'm just having such a great idea.
Touching grass.
Holy shit.
That just like taking all these cameras, like I'm just like, I've fully invested in just being a streamer or like all the fucking content I could make. And you're like, dude, you need to touch grass.
Yeah, you got some with the Snapchat, you got some with the live stream.
Like that'd be so funny. Because I'm just looking now at this room, just like filled with fucking cameras.
But then like you got to be like in the park somewhere, like physically touching grass. I am though, bro.
Just carrying grass with me all the time.
You just have a pocket full of fucking soil and grass.
Funny. Yeah.
But shit like that. No, but it's true. It is definitely, it's social media at its core is about community.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's just been used, now it's becoming, because it's so the mainstream now that it's like, it's used by massive corporations. It's used by all these people to like, sway people's sort of opinions. That's why I kind of asked you about politics. Not that I really wanted to get into it, but it's used for all these other things that it feels that part of it feels less human.
Yeah. Like at its best, it's a place for community. At its worst, it's just a cesspool for clout and, business. But I don't know, man. I think it's like, I think it's cool. Like, a lot of people are just like, oh, be in the moment. And you can do both. Like, and I think that is at its best what it is. Like if I look at all the best times I've had, like, yes, I'm in the moment, but if I've recorded that and then I make a piece of content that I really love, like I know when I really like something, I edit it and time just goes by. Yeah. I'm locked in. I'm like, I love doing this. The songs I put on there, the way I edit it, like I feel great about this piece of content. And I go, I can't wait to share this with people. That to me is social media at its best. And not only that, we do things for the memories, because that you experience it and it's gone. And all you're left with is the memories. And now you can look back and be like, this is a living memory I have. I have so much of the greatest moments of my life online that I can look at and be like, I've created a story for myself I can go back and watch. It's not just like posted randomly. Like I created something that I truly love and I put online and I get to watch it. And people are like, oh, this is something we get to tell our kids about. And like, I won't have to. I can show my kids this. I can be like, this is what I was doing. And like, it's
like a live journal.
Yeah. Almost, and it's like, I remember certain things I've done and I watch the YouTube video back or the clip back, the reels back I've made or the montage. And I'm like, this feels incredible. I'm like reliving it over and over. And it's just like, there's just more to be had out of this memory that just kind of sometimes fades without it. And I think if used at its best, it's an incredible thing, social media, but it can also just be pretty mindless and toxic. So it's hard. And I just like, I just try to know where my compass is pointed.
Yeah. Is there anything in your career, content wise or stuff you've done that you like regret doing?
No.
Or like at least, or maybe like bigger learning curves where you're like, man, I could have done that differently?
Oh, done it differently, just about everything. Yeah. Like there's so much, like I said, it's either timing or a lack of experience or knowledge from me. Cause I feel like I've done a lot of things that have been like successful, but not to the point of where I would like them to be, or a lot of projects that like kind of get put on ice. And so in retrospect, I'm like, yeah, I would have done this differently. And I think I don't just like avoid that topic or go, oh, well, blah, blah, blah. I go, no, like analyze this. What could I have learned from this? How do I adopt this now? I don't want to make the same mistakes twice, but I also don't want to be too hard on myself that I just like blew it. Because the reality is I did the best I could with what I had. And if I look back and the answer is I could have done a little bit more here and a little bit more here, like I wasn't aware of that, like now I am. So I can be honest with myself about where my shortcomings were, the mistakes I made, what I was, maybe chasing the wrong things or not putting enough work into this, where at the time it felt like I was, and now I can be honest and know how to do that again. Because you never know with the timing of this shit. So like, all of the stuff I've done, there was at least one thing I would have done differently. Everything.
Yeah, I get it.
And all I can do now is look at it and be like, well, do it better next time.
For sure.
Yeah.
What about because the one that sticks out to me the most, I just remember when you were going to have a show, I think The Rock and $7 production, someone was going to make a show about Dom Mazzetti.
Yeah.
This was like way back when like Hollywood had just started being like, oh, this is a thing. YouTube is really a thing.
Yeah.
And you were going to do a show. And from what I remember, it didn't work out because of the sort of, they picked it and they're like, yeah, we like this. It's going to be a great show. This bro science, Dom Mazzetti character. And then this is what I remember you could share, but they like said yes. And then I guess you had started doing stuff and they just wanted it completely different.
Yeah. That's the short of it. We were new to the Hollywood thing. That was always the goal. Like being early on YouTube, it was never a home. Because like the goal was no one really made like big careers out of it. It was like few people did, but it kind of was like a launching pad for, to get to traditional media. That's what I wanted to do anyway. I wanted to create a TV show. That was my ultimate goal. And being at like the height of popularity in like 2016, 2017 for bro science, the opportunity came about, which was the goal. It was never create this YouTube channel. It was always get big enough so we can go to Hollywood. Yeah. Right. And so I never treated it like it was, the YouTube channel is my permanent place and we're going to grow that as big as possible. So we're new to dealing with Hollywood executives, and Hollywood is new to dealing with internet people. They don't take you seriously. Not at that time. They're like, no, we're going to elevate your content. Yeah. We're going to bring you to the big leagues. And we're like, so you want, what are you looking for here? We want 1 million views in this video. I'm like, I do 2 million views a video. What the fuck are you elevating? You're going to tell me how to elevate? Like, no, you brought me in here to create this shit. We're trying to bring it. We're trying to take what I do best and bring it to a platform that's bigger through, better production, better distribution. Right. Just amplify what I do. Not you change what I do and you tell me how to make my stuff better. And that's what it ended up being, was like a lot of like, well, we're gonna make this for TV. We know better. And it's like, you guys brought me here not just because I'm a clown. I don't just make jokes. Like I got where I got because my instincts for entertainment, right? My instincts for storytelling, and you're going to ignore all them. I did this all alone. I didn't come off of some collaboration. I didn't have some sort of, studio backing me or whatever. Like I built this from scratch, and now here we are working together. And these people are like, well, I know better because I'm in this position at this company. And there were so many of those different people where they wanted to put their stamp on it. The director wanted to make it his thing. The executive producer above him wanted to be this, the person above that. And it turns out there was only one true fan of bro science in that whole company. And that's why it like got to that stage. Everyone else just didn't really give a shit. They just saw it as a vehicle to put their name on it. And so it just kind of changed, and we made a lot of concessions because they kept saying, well, you got to play ball. This is how it works. You guys are, you don't have the juice yet to like negotiate these types of things. And so you'd make one minor change and be like, all right, you know what? This isn't the hill I want to die on when it comes to the show. Like this is important. This is huge. Like it's not lost on me that like we're getting to the next level and there's a lot for us to learn, but it was never like the people telling me what to do. I didn't respect. They did not have a better grasp on what this was than I did. And I think it was just a bad team, and a lack of respect for creators at the time. Now I think people have a little bit more respect for that.
Way more.
Yeah. So like They didn't take me seriously. And so they thought, oh, I know better because I've been in traditional media my whole life.
So how did that actually end?
It, like I said, these minor concessions turned into, it was always, well, this came from the top. It's a non-negotiable. It came from way at the top. What are we going to do? Okay. All these minor things. It was just like death by 1,000 cuts. You know, you look at it and you go like, oh, this is fine. And then by the time they put it together, you go, I don't recognize this thing.
Yeah.
And I literally got to the point where I was like, you could not pay me to do this. This is not what I set out to do.
Yeah.
If this became a show, I don't want to be a part of it. And that was like my lifelong goal, was to do that.
Such a crazy thing.
And it eventually got to the point where like the pilot was made and they were getting ready to pitch it. And they were like, we want to soften it even more. And I'm like, no, I'm telling my manager, I'm like, no, look, I'm not doing this. I was like, this is already so watered down. And they were like, all right, well, what about this? Take your name off of it. You'll be a creator of it. It won't be a Mazzetti thing, but they'll sell the idea for a gym sitcom. I'm like, this sounds ideal. All right, like I'm gonna get paid as a creator of this. They're gonna sell some different thing. It's not a Mazzetti bro science thing. It doesn't represent like everything I've built, but it's still something to get my foot in the door and I'll be a creator on. I was like, this actually sounds like an ideal setup. And then eventually they just go, nah, never mind. We're not moving forward with it. We got nothing from it. I didn't get paid a dime, nothing.
Yeah. How long did you spend working on that?
Half a year.
Fuck.
Yeah.
And they're just like, yeah, we don't give a fuck.
No. Yeah. And it sent me spinning. And that was the first time that I was not sure what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Like I was laser focused and everything I did was hockey stick growth from the moment I had my first viral video. I was like, I know exactly what I want to do and this is it. And then I got there and it made me question. I was like, is this really what I want to do?
Yeah.
Do I really want to be like answering to people like this all the time and compromising on the things that I know best on? Like, do I have to? And I stopped and thought, well, no, I don't, because we have this platform here. And yeah, maybe it's not at this time getting me where I truly wanted to be, but maybe it could be. So now it was the first time I actually looked back at YouTube and go, maybe this is the home. The unfortunate thing was I was already 7 years into making content.
Yeah.
So do I have the juice for it? The timing was different now. And I'm like, dude, I'm not sure. But I wish I knew that sooner. I wish either that or like the peak of my stuff happened when there was more infrastructure to support the success.
Right.
So I look at it and I'm like, okay, what's next? And I think for many years I was trying to figure that out. And that's like kind of where I ended up. And
then Bro's verse.
But
that's it, dude.
It's kind of crazy. Like that was, my compass was just directly pointed there. And after that pilot with the Rocks company, it just went fucking spinning, man. And I was like, and I don't necessarily know if that was a bad thing, because I never stopped and questioned, is this really what I want to do with the rest of my life? And let's say that thing took off. Maybe I made a bunch of money, but now I'm like locked into playing this character in a certain way that maybe I don't love. Yeah. And then once that's done, I've given up my YouTube channel. I don't have that. Who knows? So like, I try not to look at it in a way of like, oh, I missed my opportunity.
Yeah. And
more like the compass sent spinning because maybe you needed to recalibrate it. So,
and I can give an example in my life that's directly the same, was the competition stuff. Because I did I made the fitness content, but prior to making the fitness content for so many years, I was like deep in I was on Instagram and I'm making photos, making videos, whatever. But my goal at the time, this is like 2011, 2010, was like before I ever got on YouTube, and I just started filming not even filming, I think we were just pictures at the time on Instagram, but it was like, okay, I'm going to be a bodybuilder. Mm-hmm. And so my first step into that industry was men's physique when the category first came out. And I learned very quickly that not unsimilar to the Hollywood thing. It's all this, political, how many people do you are coming to this show, and what coach has how many people, and those people get looked at by the judges, and those people win, and those people do better than if you're some random guy. And I remember I got all the way up to the point where I got second place at a show that every single show after that, they gave 2 pro cards out. I just felt so I got second place and was like, what the fuck? And this is back when Facebook was like the thing.
Yeah.
So I'm on Facebook and people are sending me messages like, I've never got this many messages in my life. They're like, you got robbed. Like people who are like in this small community.
Yeah.
But to me, it was so loud because I was also so young and I wasn't as versed in all these things. And I remember feeling so disheartened, like, damn, this was like my shot. And then I found out that, you know, the guy who beat me won because he was someone's client and they brought a bunch of people to that show and they've been looking at it and like got told this directly. And I was like, this is the lamest fucking industry ever. And this is back in the day. I think they've corrected it since then because the internet has forced them to, because there's so much scrutiny now.
Right. You can see everything that happens.
And you could get, and then there's so much feedback now from the audience. So you can be like, this is bullshit. You could see everything, every photo, go look at the other guy's page and be like, why did that guy not win? You know, now it's, I think they've corrected it, but I remember feeling so disheartened because like my goal was I'm going to be a bodybuilder. I didn't think I was going to be like a YouTuber, any of that shit. Yeah. And so I remember I started to like just focus on Instagram, and then my Instagram started to blow up. And then I got invited back to come do the show. This guy at the time, Lee Thompson, I don't think he's a part of the MPC anymore, but he goes, come do my show. And at this point now, I'm popular.
Yeah.
Come do my show, you'll win. I go to the show. What do you think? What do you think? He literally told me, the guy who promotes the show owns the show. And what do you think happened? Not that I looked bad. I won.
Yeah.
But then I was like, okay, this is so dog shit that like I could have been the better guy all these other times. And I know I was a better guy that one time. And I got shunned to the side because, you know, whatever money's involved and whoever's here.
Yeah.
And I just remember being like, yo, fuck this shit. Fuck these people. And I full focus. But at the time, like you said, I was like, whoa, what's going on with my life? Like, what am I doing? Where am I going? What the fuck's happening? Like, I spent all this time, effort, energy towards this thing, and I'm just getting like shitted on. And then to see you're popular now, come here and then win, that was it for me.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck this shit, fuck these people. I'm focusing on this. And at the time was like the hardest thing for me to accept. But then it became the best thing I ever did in my life. Right. One of the best things I've ever done, right? Because then it turned into everything else that I have today.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's just life. And I think the thing that's significant for people to understand is that you don't always get that answer like that month or that day or that, you know, that week when it happens and you're fucking spinning and spinning. Cause I get that feeling of like, whoa, what the fuck is actually, what am I doing? Like your identity's all wrapped into something and you don't have it. You get the answer for whatever that is. It could take years. And for me, I look back, I'm like, damn, that was one of the best things that ever happened to me. And at the time, it was the worst thing in my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, you know, I could say this about my father passing away when I was young, one of the worst things possible for anyone. But all those things made me who I am and allowed me to have what I have today. And I just think it's important to talk about that kind of shit because so many people hear this kind of shit, but it is really that I'm that fucking certain that there is no escaping this life. There's no escaping like bad things happening and not working out how you want it to work out. But there's always so much more. It's just not when you want it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's kind of what I was saying before about looking at challenges and going, this isn't necessarily a bad thing, you know? And
but when you were in it, it's hard to say that.
It's hard to say that, especially because I was younger.
Yeah.
And that was my first taste of failure.
Yeah.
Like everything else I did, I was like, dude, I'm the best.
I'm the man.
Everything
That's exactly how I felt.
Everything I touch turns to gold, and I have the fucking proof. And that was my first like real failure. And I was like, wow, okay. Well, and that was not just like a failure. Like, sure, there's other things I did that maybe didn't like pop, but like, I think at the time, no, I think everything I did just fucking skyrocketed.
Yeah,
but,
I was crushing.
Yeah,
I was the man,
fucking
bro.
killing it. But that was like, that was the biggest failure. Because like from the moment I went into college, I knew what I wanted to do. I want to make a TV show. I want to make a comedy TV show. And that was 2006. So 11 years later, I've got my shot. I've had all this success and it doesn't and it just flops. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, so this is failure.
Yeah.
Like, so this is it. It didn't work out. I'm not used to that. I'm used to things not working out when you're hungry, right? Like, cause I tried a ton of different things before it took off.
Yeah.
Nothing worked. That's fine. I've never experienced success. So failure doesn't feel that bad. In contrast, it's just failure is neutral.
Yeah.
Failure is I'm here. When you're experiencing all success and you hit your first failure, then it's like, oh, fuck. The contrast is so high. Yeah. And you're like, damn, am I a failure?
Yeah, who the fuck am I?
And when you never experience that, you don't really know what to make of it. And so it did send me spinning way longer than it would now. And it took me forever to really adopt that mindset of like, yeah, this sucks, this hurts, but learn from it. there's almost an excitement now that comes with certain failures where I'm like, oh, cool. Okay, now I have information. I've got data I can use to figure this out. Where sometimes with success, you don't get that same feedback. Like you will get more direct feedback from your failures than you will your successes. Like in my clothing brand in particular, I had one drop that just absolutely crushed. And we kept trying to replicate that and couldn't figure out exactly how to do it. And we didn't learn a ton from that. We learned a ton from not succeeding on the other drops. We're like, okay, this isn't working. We're narrowing it down. We're learning. We're getting better. But chasing that one thing and always trying to replicate that one success never happened. I had to learn, like, it might have happened by accident. It might have just been a timing thing, but you need to learn what not to do just as much as you need to learn what to do. So now it's like a lot, the bounce back, the resilience from failure is much quicker because I see it as like, okay, take that moment to feel this. Like, don't ignore what you're actually feeling from this. Like, take your time to like gather yourself. That hurt, that sucks. But then self-reflect, look on it. What did I learn from this? What can I do better? Where is this pointing me? Like, good thing or a bad thing, it happened. Okay, so here's where I am. What am I going to do with this? Am I going to give up and be like, I failed, back to whatever? I don't even know what back to whatever looks like for me. So I just have to keep moving forward. And so when shit doesn't work out, all I'm left with is like, what can I pull from this? And it took me a long time to get there because you do have when you're younger and experiencing that, you have a bit of a victim mentality and you're like, damn, why me? Why did this happen? Fuck this person for screwing this up. I could sit here and blame the whole team at the production company for ruining my dream. And yeah, they had a hand in it not going well, but I don't say you fucked my life up. Yeah. I'm like, I learned from this. Maybe this isn't, where I want to be. And so the faster you can kind of recognize that, the faster you can get back on your feet and just find out what truly is right for you. And I think like it's exciting to know what isn't right for you just as much as it is to know what is. Like learning what isn't right is just, you're getting closer, man. You're just getting
to what's right,
to figuring it out. And like you're spending less time just scanning and trying to understand it. And it's hard because honestly, when you're taking loss after loss after loss, you're like, I do need a win because I do need to like refill this tank. So, but sometimes all you have to look at is like, just trust that if you are confident in yourself and you believe in it and you're honest with yourself and you can look at these failures and go, I was wrong here. I can improve here. I can be better here. Then your only option is to move forward. And then, it stings a little bit less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck. The answer, Bro's verse, dude. That's the show.
Yeah.
I really believe it.
I think it's a lot of fun, man. I think so.
Yeah. So how do we convince Nadeem?
I just think he needs to see our text messages.
Yeah. He didn't answer the call or this.
No, he's playing hard to get.
Yeah, he is. Maybe we just show him the pod and say you don't have a choice.
Yeah. Be like, dude, yeah. I gotta like
the people
that.
said yes.
You got a strong arm. We have all the leverage. Well, he does.
Yeah, we'll call him Terrain.
Tell him that.
We'll call him Terrain and say you don't have a choice, brother.
Yeah.
We'll make him cook for us and then just because he's so good at that. And then
yeah, honestly, realistic steps though, so that we're not just bullshitting.
Yeah.
Get the live stuff set up.
Yeah, I got that.
Let's come up with a bunch of ideas. Let's actually think about what this is going to look like when we shoot it.
Yeah.
Answer all these questions of how do we engage with the chat? How does their involvement when we're shooting these things? How do we keep the things on track and on focus when we're creating without the noise of this, but also involving them? Just kind of like picture every step of the way what we're going to do. Answer those questions. Know how this is going to work from a business standpoint, from a consistency standpoint, and then start to fucking do it. Because like I do want to, and I don't want to keep lying to people.
A little tequila.
A lot of tequila.
That's the answer. Little shot, get it going.
Hey man,
Dude. I'm telling you, we got to do. I think maybe the first one is. Well, can we do that on Twitch? I don't even know if you could do that on Twitch.
Do what?
Drinking games.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I don't know if you could do that on Twitch.
Games is fucking
I'll check. Because that was one of my favorite.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite.
I've got a couple ideas. I don't want to say it on the podcast because I don't know when this is coming out versus when they'll come out, but I've got a couple of really funny ones that are topical and like very, very bros verse in the sense of like what the scheme is to make money. So yeah.
70-30.
Yeah, so you got 30%.
Yeah, no, I'm fucking with you. I'm totally fucking with you. Oh God, that's a bit of itself. Fuck. That's such a dumb thing.
We're sitting here like talking about bringing it back, and we're just constantly negotiating, and we keep going in with like tactics, and we're watching like gurus about negotiating.
Bros verse.
Bros
verse.
That's actually fucking hilarious.
Yeah, dude.
Where we're like, yeah, we're bringing it back, and we're like live streaming it, and we just get fucking heated. We're like, we're done. That's it. We're never bringing this shit back again.
Bro, that's the video. Bros verse.
Hostile takeover.
Holy shit. I don't need you, bro. I'll get a robot. AI robot. Fuck you.
Fuck you, dude. And we try to like,
We can get a robot for real.
oh my God, we try to do it. We try to do it on our own with like different fucking things. It's so funny.
That's great.
I'll be like, yeah, dude, I'll just get a fucking farm animal. I don't care.
Yeah.
Just
Just we'll rent a
an
goat.
actual donkey, and it's just like, all right, Bradley. They won't know the difference.
Oh fuck, dude. That's oh God. This is and see like that is so genuine to me because I like that's one of my favorite processes. Just like picking the topic.
Yeah,
There's so much shit.
so funny.
What the fuck? We keep calling. Oh, Nadeem's calling.
Oh,
Perfect.
shit.
Perfect timing.
Look at that. We're about to write you off.
Perfect time. We were gonna find a new videographer. Because I'm with my fucking cowboy brother. What you mean, bro? This is how I dress. How I always dress. What the fuck are you talking about?
Don't gaslight him, dude.
Yeah, what the hell?
He's always looked like that.
You want to street fight me? Dude, so we decided that you don't have a choice in your life decisions anymore regarding our life decisions.
Yeah, and if you say no, you're gonna let all these people down that we promised that we're gonna bring this back.
Yeah, we just did a whole podcast. You kind of don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Tell me what's going on first.
We're gonna do Brosverse, but live stream and film. Like, so we're gonna film you filming us while we're filming the live stream is gonna be filming us, you filming.
I'll take care of this.
Yeah, maybe.
Right.
So Mike will help you out with that.
Yeah. So we're gonna do Brosverse like we always do it. You're gonna film like you always film, but we're going to live stream the process of us shooting it. So you get to see the behind the scenes, you get to see the bloopers, you get to see how we create it. And then we just edit the video like we normally do. I'll edit the stuff that you shot. So we're gonna have two cameras, one to shoot the live stream, you to shoot the actual video. I'll edit the video for YouTube, post that on the channel. Then we'll also post the bloopers. We have the live stream, and then we have the clips. So one video is 4 different.
Yeah, and but, so I could also handle this. You also just kind of don't have a choice, man. Sorry, brother.
Okay, well, are we gonna do more than one episode? Like,
Yeah,
Hang up on him. Hang up on him.
Yes, bro. Fuck. Yeah, no, we were just talking about that.
Yeah, I just told you. One episode is 4 episodes, dude.
Yeah, that's 4. One is 4. No, but
yeah.
but that's the plan, dude. I think that's the. I think the internet has not seen it, especially live streaming.
Just let me know when.
Oh, he's. Are you still in LA, right?
Yeah, I am unemployed, so.
Fuck yes.
Oh, dude, I love your misfortune.
Love your misfortune
It's
right
great.
now.
It works. Perfect
We love
timing.
you, Nadeem.
Yeah.
You're the best, dude. Can you cook us a steak though? Wait, how far are you from whatever? LA. Like,
I'm in downtown.
okay, all right, perfect. That's good. All right, you're in.
All right.
Okay,
Like,
0.
something here knows,
Okay, 0%. All right, cool. I love you, bro. I'm kidding, obviously. No, we got to get Nadeem paid, dude.
Yeah.
For sure, easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it, man. We're locked. That was perfect timing.
That was, yeah.
Holy shit.
Finally.
I love unemployed Nadeem.
Yeah, it's great.
He's honestly one of the best videographers.
Oh, he's funny, man.
Yeah.
He really adds.
Yeah.
Very funny.
Well, I think we did it. I think we win. I think that's it.
That's it.
Unless there's anything else you want to talk about.
I think I'm good.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well.
All right, let's hit it.
70-30. My guy, I got 70. Okay. You still can't get me, brother. I'm too strong. I'm too strong. I'm way too strong.